times have you gotten to the month of April and just beaten yourself up about being bad at the money month? Well, it's time to put an end to the shame and step up your financial game with education and resources. Here to explain more from Hey Berna is financial educator and hype woman, Berna Annette. Berna, thanks so much for joining us here on
Thank you
LITB.
so much. I'm so excited to be here yet again to just do the money dance for all the folks.
Do the money dance. Speaking of money dance, we got to be doing that here in the month of April because it is Financial Literacy Month.
It is.
What does that mean to so many viewers out there when they hear the words Financial Literacy Month?
I know. I really wish we could rename it because it's such a stuffy name for honestly what is my favorite thing in the world. Financial Literacy Month is all about taking a look at your money life. But for me, it really means taking a look at who you get your money advice from and where the information comes from and how that feels for you. Financial literacy is literally how you kind of ingest and process financial education. A lot of the times, though, financial education as we know it, I like to say, because I am from the Bay, hella male, hella pale, hella stale. A lot of the writers, the authors, the bloggers out there are just like, it's a very specific person that you see in mind when you think of financial literacy. So this month, I've really tried to encourage folks to find financial educators and content that feels good to them and is fun, because we don't often put money and fun together.
And why do you think it's so common for people to have these misconceptions about financial literacy and just not really fully grasp the meaning of it?
Yes, I think for so many of us growing up, we are in families and in environments where we just don't talk about money. Money is this sort of very taboo subject. You're told, or it's sort of implied in your environment, that money is to be kept to yourself. A lot of us experience a lot of money trauma growing up too. In our homes, we're like, oh, money is a source of shame and fear and intensity. And really, when taught properly, money can really be a tool for freedom, for joy, for accessibility. It's just the education that comes to us does not reflect that. So I'm really trying to just shake the wiggles out for folks when it comes to financial literacy. For April Financial Literacy Month, I'm like, folks, we can learn about money in a way that doesn't feel stuffy and scary and strange. We're just taught those things growing up.
And I love that. So let's go into that really quickly, because I want so many people out there to feel that they're well equipped to deal with Financial Literacy Month. What are some of the resources or just educational materials you feel like people should have access to, or do have access to and don't know about out there?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. A lot of it is free. It's out there. It's on social media. It's just you don't know about it because it's not talked about. But this is my favorite thing to do, because I feel like whenever I'm in an opportunity like this, I'm bringing my financial friends along that are just like me. Fun, and they're people of color, and they're women, and there's just so many folks that I want everyone to know about. For example, one of my favorite financial podcasts in the universe is called Brown Ambition by Tiffany and Mandy. It really feels like you're just sort of in a group FaceTime with your best friends talking about money, who just know a lot about career and ambition and finances. I love to read books by other BIPOC as well. One of my favorite books that's finance related is called Finance for the People by Paco de Leon. It's money plus, oh my gosh, the world is burning. How am I supposed to care about this stuff when it's just like Armageddon every day?
Yeah.
So there's so many resources that you can tap into that feel just more like who we are, how you speak, how you live your everyday life.
Well, speaking of resources, you yourself have actually provided so many people out there with resources with your book, Money Out Loud.
Yes.
Tell me about it. What can we find in here?
Oh my gosh. So I wrote Money Out Loud specifically for those of us who always felt shut out of the money world. This is the book that I wish someone handed to me when I was 16. If you can't tell, I'm a little unhinged. I'm a very adult child. I'm always telling people I'm like 3 children in like a trench coat, kind of making my way through the money world. And I never found any resource that sounded like the sort of inner child in my brain. It didn't speak to me the way I wanted it to. And so I wrote Money Out Loud to be a comprehensive, everything you need to know about money that they didn't teach us in school, which honestly you can find. You can Google, you can find it. But I like to think I delivered it in a way that sort of speaks to the inner child in all of us. This is the book, again, I wish someone handed to me when I was a very lost teenager. But it can really apply to anybody at any point of their life, because so many of us are young when it comes to our financial lives. There's so much we haven't learned, and that we don't know. So I wrote it with a lot of humor, a lot of meme references, pop cultural things, but also a lot of voices from my community, lots of BIPOC who are sharing their stories and are not just experts, but regular people talking about their debt, the money lives in their homes, and just a lot of relatability. That's what I'm hoping for.
Well, I love that, Berna, and I would like to get into some of the tangible tips that people can really take away when it comes to addressing this financial literacy. So what are some of those tips that you can offer people today?
Of course. So I would say be dogged and just get into financial education that feels and looks like you. It doesn't have to be our hella male, hella pale, hella stale dudes in suits. People who look and live like you, go find them. They're out there and they want to find you too. They're speaking money in a way that you can understand, and you deserve to be in a room with someone who speaks money in your language, one. The second thing is, a lot of people like to go, okay, Berna, just tell me the tips to fix my financial life and it'll be over, just put the Band-Aid over it. What I like to tell people is, first of all, slow down, because money is incredibly personal. It's incredibly specific to each person, and we have to sort of unpack what our personal money story is. I always ask folks, do you remember what you did with your very first paycheck? Do you remember the first time that money was brought up in your household? Do you remember the first time that you realized you might have more or less than other people? All of that is very related to the way that we deal with money now, and honestly, the ways that we beat ourselves up about being bad at money, a lot of the time has to do with what we learned growing up. And so I ask folks to be gentle with yourselves, a little like low-key financial therapy, unpack it a little bit, and move with a lot of grace and gentleness, because money, again, is a source of tension and shame for a lot of folks. And if you shine a light on where that tension and shame comes from, it turns out we're all just trying to get by and do the best with what we have. So before like stacking all those tips onto you, think about your money brain, your money heart, your money life, and be gentle while you're taking care of your financial self.
So it sounds like when it comes to financial literacy, it really is a personal journey with your personal finances.
Absolutely.
And that's tailored to everybody differently.
Yes.
So when it comes to certain tips, how about saving? Because so many people out there, especially in the climate that we live today, it's very hard to save money.
Yes, absolutely. And I think what I'm hyper aware of are other financial educators being like, oh, you're bad at saving money because of your mindset, or you're thinking about the wrong thing. The truth is, saving money really is mathematical. You need to be earning more than what your life costs every month in order to save. If you're not earning as much as your life costs, you just can't save. So for a lot of folks, it's not about tips and tricks or the best savings account. It's, does your income match your lifestyle? Should you be asking for more money? Should you be looking for other streams of income? Because all the other tips are just gonna make you feel bad about what is honestly a mathematical problem. Once you've figured out you do make enough money for your actual lifestyle every month, then I really love to encourage folks to create a savings plan that's either 3 to 6 months out, name that savings plan, get on the internet and Google free savings calculators, and they could break down for you how much money can you save every month, if you can save this much, how long is it gonna take for you to get to your goal, and just really kind of formulate a plan that has more to do with the numbers and less to do with how you feel about your money, because it really has a lot to do with what leftover money you have at the end of every month that you can save. If you don't have that, go back to the drawing board, look at your income, and work from there.
That's incredibly important. I like that piece of advice. And what would you say maybe one warning sign where, hey, you really need to hone in on your finances now?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so when I was maybe 22, 23, I ignored all of those emails that were like, hey, girl, Bank of America wants you to know that you're overdrafting on the thing. We're doing all that stuff. It's when my inbox starts to creep up of all those notifications that I'm like, I should really obviously take a look at these things. But I think what's so important to get around those warning signs and those red flags is creating a moment for yourself every week or every 2 weeks. I call it a money date or a BAE date, B-A-E, because I take care of my finances before anything else. And it's an hour or 2 hours or whatever time you have to sit, look at your bank accounts, check in with your things, and not just like force yourself to look into your bank accounts, but make it fun, make it feel good. Journal a little bit about how you feel about your money in that moment. I have a whole money playlist on Spotify that you can look up, play some money music, eat some snacks. Understand that financial care is self-care, and you should be making time for that so that you don't run up against those flags and suddenly you're running to the bank or suddenly you're running to the app. Make it a regular part of your day and make it enjoyable.
Wonderful. Well, Berna, you are amazing. Thank you so much for some of the tips and your book, Money Out Loud. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, Olivia. This is so
Of
fun.
course, yeah. To learn more, head to heyberna.com, and we'll also have a link on our website at liveinthebay.tv.